Hi, uh, good evening. This is my submission for the challenge dynamic lead scoring engine. I did submit my challenge already. So it's I have submitted the code and the package. So I just wanted to give you a demo of how the dynamic lead scoring engine is built. So for the scoring engine, the first thing that I did was I built like a custom object called scoring rules. So this is like a parent object. So you have a rule object which is a lead for now, but you can add like any object to this one. So it should be able to support any Salesforce object record. And the action is insert and update. And if you don't give any action, it works on both the insert and update. So there are some other options like the max score if you want to set a max score, and a reset score if no action. So I mean, whether to reset the score that is on the record, and if it is a subset rule, so there is a requirement telling that it should work for the subsets like the product categories or the companies or something. So you can just define what subset field that you wanted to make it as a subset and the values. So but right now I'm just building a basic rule. So this is a scoring rule, and now by building a scoring rule, you're just building like a skeleton of it. So you have to build in like the actual rules. So the actual rules are built on the scoring rule fields, which is nothing but a child object. So you define scoring rule fields. So you define the field name, and then you define the field type, operator equals, or let's see, greater than, and the value is 50, assume, and the score that you wanted to use. So there is this option called use field as a score. So what's going to happen is if you check this option, it uses the number of employees value, that value as the actual score. So for the integers, it's good, and it's also one of the requirements. So I'll use that, uh, use field as a score, and I'll just save and new, and then created date is a date time, operator is greater than, and you can use date literals like yesterday, today, tomorrow, last week, next week, this week, last month, next month, this month, last year, next year, this year. So there are like some set of defined date literals that I have used. So you can use any of those. If you wanted to expand, that's a kind of little more complex. So I just limited it to use like 12 date literals, which are like the most useful ones, so that you can use them. And then let's save this one. And what else? So clone. Oops. Cancel. Let me define another rule, and then you have to give the score. So if this rule matches, assume that we assign like 500 points, and then let's see, field name status, which is a string. For the strings, it has contains and also the regular expression. Anything works. So you can define a regular expression and it should work. 250 points, and contains contacted. So assume that I have defined like for this calling rule editor for on a lead object, I have defined three different rule fields, and the scores are like this. So let's go ahead and see how it works on a lead. So let's see. Let me go ahead and create a, we have contacted a number of employees 150, and let's save this. So I have added this custom field called score. You can see the score over here. So I saved it. So score is 400. So 150 is for the number of employees which we defined, and the 250 is for the contacted. And the created date is greater than yesterday did not work because it's a new insert, so there is not really a created date defined at that point. But if you do an update, so let's update it to 86 and save it. So now you see that 836, that's now the created date is, this is the created date, and which is nothing but the created date is greater than yesterday. So if you, and so 500 plus 250, 750 plus whatever the score on the employee, 86, so that's 836. So that's how the score is calculated. So you can also, what else you can do, you can compare two different fields, like in the challenge. So there is a wildcard match is done, integer is done, so it compares the strings, it compares, oh, this one, the created date and last modified date, right? So you can build a formula like this: field name created date, operator created date is a date time, and created date should be less than, it's a field comparison, so you can say, and let's see, let's assign like 1500 as score and save it. So what it is doing is, since it's a field comparison, it compares the last modified date value and the created date values. So let's go ahead and change something on this, maybe description, demo testing real time. So it basically should add like 1500. So it added 1500, so it says 203,000, 2336. So it's real time. So as soon as you save it, the trigger behind the scenes runs, and it basically updates the score. So that's basically it for the this challenge. You can do a lot. You can expand this functionality to use it on different multiple objects, and we can, the code is pretty much simple. I have a score handler class which does most of the work, and I have a date compare util class which is using the date literals, and it is comparing the date values. And if you see the trigger on a lead, it's just few lines, like 3 lines of code. So uh, if you wanted to put it on a case, or if you wanted to put it on an account or some other object, you can do the same thing. It's just like this. If you duplicate this 4 lines of code, it works on the other objects as well. And you can use the regular expressions as well. So if you wanted to use regex in the string comparison, it should work because there is code to handle the regular expressions. So it should work. So if it is an email address that you wanted to validate, just find the email address and put it, and it will work. So I hope you like my challenge. If you have any questions or anything, just shoot me an email, and I'll be able to respond to you guys. Thank you. You have a good day. Bye bye. One last thing that I forgot to tell you about uh, is on the scoring rules, the subset rule. So you have to set a subset rule, and on the lead. So in the challenge it says the product interest. So I'll just put it as a product interest. So that's the product interest. Sorry, this is a different one. So subset field is the product interest, and it's a GC 1000 series, and you save this. So this is a GC 1000 series product interest. So if you try to change the employees as well, 54, save it, this is gonna work. So but if you wanted to clone this lead, and if you wanted to do like a CS demo 2, but you are not setting the product interest, where is it? You're setting it to 3000, and you're saving it. Oops, I think I did not delete this, I'm sorry. You're saving it, it doesn't calculate the score. So because since I changed the scoring rule to a subset rule versus the actual big rule that applies for all the records, I changed it to a subset rule, which is basically a subset of a field's value. So that's how this part works. So that's basically it. That's all I had, and that's all the requirements that are given in the challenge. So thank you again. Bye bye.